So hello everyone, this is Bitcoin Design Guide Jam session number 44. What a nice number. So good to have everyone here. And today, as usual, we'll go over our milestone, which currently is milestone 18, and the open tasks. Some of them have been lingering for a little bit. And some of us have also been quite busy with other things or on vacation or so. But I think it would be good to wrap up some of them and maybe maybe push some things to later updates or so we can get a little bit of closure on things. But we can go through it one by one. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today? Stain, pin updates or pin discussion, which is not in this milestone, probably?
No, it's not in this milestone. So I think I've completed the first part of that pin task. Well, the task was about just doing a write-up, but then I wanted to do a follow-up, just explaining some of the details on that. I'm not sure if it needs to go into like a new milestone or how these milestones are structured.
Just sharing this document here the original, the original framework was every milestone should be exactly 3 weeks, and then we'll do a new one. And we cut down tasks, so they're always 3 weeks. But it doesn't always work that way. Worst case scenario was we had a milestone that took 3 months. That was the worst. But ideally, we shoot for that. But it doesn't matter, right? It's just a milestone that's set. It's somewhat arbitrary. If there's other stuff going on, then that's fine too. If someone doesn't fit anymore in a milestone, then we'll take it out. It's just kind of a loose way of just kind of bundling a few things at the moment. So yeah, that's no problem at all. And so sorry, I need to refresh my brain here. Is there an open issue? Because I know you've shared a document. There's a Slack conversation happening.
There isn't an open issue. So I closed the one that I kind of originally created for the first part of it. And then there was this follow-on discussion, which doesn't have a task. But we can create a task for that. And then we can just kind of link in the conversation that we're having around that. But I think I don't think there's too much left on it. Like I think I just need to have maybe one person to just double check it, just review it for me, and then I could add it into like a pull request, or I can just go straight into a pull request and people can review it there.
Yeah, that sounds good. Are you comfortable doing pull requests and all of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I've done a pull request with my first task.
Awesome.
And I've done another one.
That's excellent. And if I remember correctly, Daniel, in one of the conversations, Daniel said he's working on something related. Maybe the two of you can chat about this if there's some overlap.
Yeah, that would be great. So maybe if Daniel's got some time, you could maybe review it for me, just double check it for me, and then you can tell me if we need to add some of the things that you're working on into that, or we maybe just split it out into a different task to iterate on that. I'm not sure exactly how much detail we need to add into the savings wallet guide, but yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Happy to review anything.
Okay, cool. I'll ping you with the link again to the doc, and you can just double check it for me.
Great, thank you. Yeah, just for context, what I've been working on is a little bit more builder specific, right? Trying to explain all the different places you have the option to save keys in, and kind of what the pros and cons are of each. So it might be a bit more detailed than what's required for this instance.
Okay.
Cool, awesome. Do you want me to create the issue for it, or do you want to create it, Stein?
No, I'll give it a shot. I haven't created issues yet, but I'm sure I can figure it out.
Awesome. If you can do pull requests, you can definitely do issues.
Completely.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Milestone. Let's start from the top. Stephen, the header image, you closed that issue that you had. Do you just want to forget about this one right now, or do you still want to create another image, or what do you think?
Somebody else can take over it. I don't. I'm fine with that.
Does anyone want to do it, or should we just kick it out in milestone for now? Not worry about it.
I mean, is it just like a quick image of? It's just literally. Could we even use AI art to generate something?
Well, a quick depends on your ambitions, right?
Well, I'll go for quick and fast. I'm happy to take that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Quick, fast, simple, and with my minimum design skills, I'll give it a shot.
I mean, as we usually do or recommend with these header images, a good first step is to just kind of outline what you have in mind before you spend, I don't know, 2 seconds, 7 seconds on generating those images.
Okay, so first outline my idea, post it as a comment, and then, okay, cool. I'm happy to do that.
And generating AI images half the morning here, saving Satoshi. Okay, awesome. Glad you're taking that over. And then Stephen, Fiat over Lightning. I think you were working on that last Thursday, right?
Yeah, still working on it. I'm not ready for review yet, but hopefully soon.
Awesome. Do you need anything right now? Any feedback, or just need focus time?
I just need to get my shit together.
Okay. Can we help with getting that together, or is that more of a manual
I just need focus
labor
time.
task? Okay.
Just need focus time.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, then Mr. Yashraj, are you back from breakfast?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So by the way, I wanted to show you that here is the, I built a subpage for the workshop at Advancing Bitcoin and used your pay-join user flow as as the content of the workshop. So basically, I told everyone about what you and Dan are working on, and then I pulled up this case study draft, and I explained a little bit about what's happening, and came up to this workflow here, and then I stopped and with the group there, with the workshop group, tried to reproduce this flow here from the UI kit. So I kind of took this one, copied it into Figma, zoomed in, went through it, and tried to rebuild it with the UI kit. And I thought that was great. It was a great amount of content. There were 6 screens. It's very similar to an existing flow with just a few additions. And it also kind of had the technical interest, right? For the technically people minded, they're like, oh yeah, page joins are cool. This is how we can do it. Okay. And it allowed for showcasing the UI kit pretty well. So it was good. So thanks for preparing that so nicely.
Yeah. I mean, good to know, that that you got some more people interested in this. So yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and did any, because people had direct. I included a link to this document. So I don't know if people came in and read it, but definitely probably gave some exposure to this work as well. But back to the milestone. So, what's the status of the case study?
Case study. Yeah. So I think on Friday, Stephen and I went through like another draft of the case study. I feel like it's really close to being done, but Dan had some comments on what he felt like the direction should be. I think Stephen just messaged us the link of the doc that I wanted to use. Yeah. So I basically took a look at Mo's document, and I tried to extract what she wanted me to do with the case study, right? And then I tried to apply it to this to my draft, and this is the document that Steven and I used to go through the case study. Steven, you have any thoughts on how our conversation went, the direction, or like how you feel this, what's this situation with this according to you?
Yeah, so a new document here is got a structure that I think is working a lot better than the old one. So yeah, I think this was a great move in the right direction here. Um, yeah, I mean, we discussed a couple of things like that I thought could be reworded and simplified on the call Friday, and all of that. So yeah, I think it's pretty close. One idea someone had floated around, I think, in the GitHub issue was that what if we simplify this and just like put this on, we simplify it and like split it into 2 pages, which I wanted to take some time and I don't know, just figure out if that's a reasonable approach or not. I'm trying to find the issue real quick here. There we
The
go. I got it. Who made this comment? That was actually Dan's suggestion. So a how it works page, just about page joins, and then just kind of like stripping out the BTC pay kind of case study analysis and all that into a case study. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about it between now and when we got off of that call. But yeah, I think it's getting close. I think we need to think about just graphics and all of that. Like, what's the best way to show those? But yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, so I read Dan's comments, and I actually had a call with Dan a couple of days before our conversation, Stephen, and it was in that conversation that he suggested what he suggested in the comment itself, and like after considering it a bit, I felt like what what he wanted to see was a bit beyond the scope of the case study, at least beyond the scope of the effort for me, because my effort was centered around like exploring the design and all of that. And if you read Dan's comment, like he's really much more interested about like the real world applications and all of that. And so as a trade-off, as like a compromise rather, what I did was that I like hinted to all the things he was really interested in. I just hinted to them in the intro and the insight section. So I felt like that was given all the effort that has already gone into it. I'm not sure how much it is. It just took me quite long to do it, but given that, I felt like Dan's suggestion is like a very different approach. It is very similar to the approach actually, in the sense that it wants to hive off some of the content of the case study and put it into the design guide. And I think Mo suggested that already, and I think we have already implemented that somewhat. But I would love to know anybody else's thoughts on this.
Um, I'm just looking at the document now. I'm really happy that you guys worked on it. I mean, I just kept on seeing these alerts coming into my email while I was on holiday. I was like, wow, these guys are just sailing ahead with it.
Why are you checking email on holiday?
I know. I didn't check Bitcoin design community though. I did check my email. But I like how it's restructured. I really like what you guys did with it. My only comment would be, and I think that Yashraj and I discussed this before, is the investigation part, which is kind of where Dan's comment comes in. This investigation part of BTC Pay merchant receiving on page number, where is it? It's page number 9. It adds quite a chunk onto the case study. Well, not a chunk, it adds on a bit like kind of like 1.5 pages onto the case study. So my idea would be to think about whether we want to include that investigation bit, or whether, as Dan suggested, break it up into 2 parts. I don't know if it's too long. It's just, this is not this. It takes away that sort of snackable feeling.
Can I make a suggestion? Sometimes it might be help if you just copy paste this into a pull request and create a draft pull request, and then you see what it looks like actually in the website, because that's always different. And maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
But rather than guessing, that might be just a quick, I don't know, reality check.
I
Yeah,
think that's a good idea.
yeah. I like that suggestion too. More, I think I took your like in my mind, I took your advice, and if you just scroll a bit up, I don't know who is sharing their screen right now, but it's the right
Uh,
page.
I am.
If you could just scroll up a bit, yeah, that's it. So if you see like the investigation, so I removed all the investigation and I just said, here are the problems identified. And that's it. That's like 5 bullet points. And after that, I said, yeah, here is the full analysis.
Mm,
Uh, maybe, and I agree with you, maybe there is like a table above. I think that can be deleted as well. I think Steven suggested that, and I think I like that suggestion. But I have tried to remove the investigations. I only kept the insights because in my mind the insights into the sender and the receiver flows. I think that is the way that I approach this.
no, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just to make sure we don't repeat the insights in the table. But if it's not repeated, then it's good. I mean, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so. I don't think that I have repeated the insights, but um, I think what I would really like to do, and I don't know, like, so I cloned the repository. I created a branch, and I made a few commits. Right now, they are sitting in my local, um, and I can like pu- push them to my repository and then create a pull request. I think I can do it like after the call immediately, and yeah, maybe then someone can test how it's going to look. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Yep. Just let me know when you have it up, and I'll give you a review. It'll probably be a long process if this is your first big PR into the guide.
Mhm.
We're going to spend a lot of time, finagling image formats and all that kind of stuff. But that'll be a huge next step to take. So it'll be good.
Awesome.
Do you need any help from us with setting that up, Yashraj?
Um, I don't know right now, so that's why I said like I have 3 commits sitting in my branch right now. I like converted this thing to Markdown, uh, added images and things like that. I'm not sure how it's working right now. So let's find out. I'm sure that I don't even know what I don't know. So right now I'm thinking, maybe I'm good. It's very likely that I'm wrong, but let's see.
Go for it.
Go for it. Yep.
Go for it. Go for it.
Nice.
We are here to support you. Go for it. Absolutely go for it.
Um, okay. Anything else on that topic? Let's see.
Mhm. Yeah. So I think one last thing. I just, uh, I just felt like if we do the case study and if we could get it out first, and in the meantime, I can keep working on the Bitcoin design guide page content. And Steven suggested a couple of things on that too, and so did Dan. And I want to implement those. Like does this like seem like the right approach? Because what I was thinking is that uh, we have the analysis of both etc pay and blue wallet pay join implementations. I felt like that I could just publish that initially as a Google document, like just saying I just did this analysis, and see what people think about it. In the meantime, we we can keep working. You people can keep helping me on like getting the pull request out, and that is hopefully done. And then the third step can be the page join page on the guide itself, because I do have some questions around that, and I have some things to do on that as well.
Yeah, so basically, publish kind of your research first, and then the other 2 pages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you? I thought maybe I overheard it. I felt like I did not hear anything about publishing it to Noster.
Yeah, so I mean that was what I was saying. When I said publish it, I meant on Ostra.
Yeah, there's a long note format or whatever it's called now. Would be perfect to
Mhm.
try that out. Yeah, I mean that's totally up to you, right? That's totally your content. So feel free to share that whenever you're ready. Yeah. Or I mean, you can just go ahead and do it, or you can run it past us, whichever you feel is more comfortable. But, yeah.
Okay, sure. But like this 3 point plan, like it felt like,
Yeah.
instead of just dumping everything on people, it seems like people just, like, and it's totally reasonable. Like I can't just like dump a lot of things on like anybody and just like expect them to, to process it. So
Yeah. I'm a big fan of splitting things up and even sometimes coming back to it and tweaking a few things. Like when you publish the third page, update some links in the other pages and whatnot. It just makes it easier for yourself and for everyone else. Also, if it's split up.
yeah, I agree, because I think Steven suggested like, and I agree that there is also like a lot of scope for like a visual, like animation maybe, or like graphics to really explain what is going on in the page join process and stuff. It's just that I think like we are quite a bit deep into this page join thing already, and the second thing is that I suspect some of it, most of it, is beyond my abilities right now. So it will be great to like publish something and then come up with like the graphics and all of that. So I love that approach too.
Yeah, totally. And especially if you feel like you would need some other people to chip in with certain aspects, then just get it all out there, give it a little bit of time. Sometimes it takes weeks or months or so even until the right people stumble across it or it get mentioned in some newsletter and someone else sees it and whatnot. So getting things out there iteratively is definitely the way to go. It reminds me,
Indeed, yes.
last week I got a notification that a UX issue that I filed 4 years ago finally got implemented and went live in a release. So I hope it's not 4 years for your stuff either, but gotta be patient sometimes.
And Yashraj, when you're creating that pull request, feel free to lean in on us if you don't understand anything or something goes wrong. Like we were all in your shoes before, I'm no GitHub genius, but just send any of us a message and say, I don't know what to do here, I don't understand, or just feel free.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate all the help from everyone, because God knows I need that.
That's how I felt in Connor's LDK workshop on Thursday. I was like, you want me to write Rust? I don't even know how to declare a variable. What am I doing? Okay. So yeah, just seeing the message, I'm signing it to you, and
Thanks, Christoph.
okay, that sounds about right. Okay, cool, awesome. So we're all set up now. All right. I think we went through everything in the milestone. what else is going on? What else is there to chat about?
Christoph, I don't know if we did the space repetition one. I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
know.
Yeah, we did not. You're right. Okay, and I do think I owe Yashrash some feedback here. Commented last week. Yeah, we had this whole conversation.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm so behind on this that I don't want to like think about it. So like just added it to the list of things I've suppressed, and like that's it. Be done with it.
Okay, how about I will take a shot at. I feel like we've had so much back and forth now, and we've had some got a bunch of conversations, and we have some examples and all this. How about I'll take a stab at putting together a pull request, like a first draft pull request, and then we take it from there.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Okay. You okay, Mo?
Sorry, no, it's just, the way Yashwant talks about it, you can hear he wants to make it happen, but he's like, I suppressed it. I just had to laugh with that, sorry.
I suppress a lot of things all the time. That's what you got to do. Okay, then I will take. I will put that in my document here. That was stuff to create a draft PR with all. Okay. Okay, cool. Any other ones? Anything else on the milestone? All good? Cool. So we can either wrap it up early or we can chat about other things. Something interesting from advancing Bitcoin was the guys at Wizard Sardine. Wizards. Let me just look that up. They have
Their new complex spending policy, Liana wallet thing.
exactly, and I can't find any images here. So they had a wallet, a multi-sig wallet, where you have these fallback mechanism that says if I spend once a year, then everything's fine. It's just under my keys. But if, let's say, I die, I can't spend, then some of the money gets transferred to, let's say, someone, a loved one or a family member. So, or if I lose one key, then two people that I trust can also kind of help me out. And the Kevin, I don't know if he's CEO, project lead, or something like that. He specifically said that we need UX standardization for this one, because if their wallet sets up this complex spending stuff and other wallets don't show it, let's say their wallet goes away and you import it somewhere else and it just doesn't show anything, right? Then you're kind of screwed, or you might mess things up. So I thought that was a very good case here for creating a page at some point about this, so we could learn from how they represent it, figure some patterns, and then maybe also, I don't know, publish that. Stain, did you raise your hand? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Did they add more detail in terms of how they see it work? Like at least on a high level.
The best thing is if I can just happen to find a screenshot here. Let me see if I can dig something up. Here. Copy link address.
Wizard Sardine.
Hmm. Oh, come on. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see this in my background here.
Yeah.
So they call it primary path. So let's say, so you're, at the top, you're basically creating a 3 of 3 wallet, but you could also be 2 of 3. So one would be key on your device and maybe another hardware wallet that you need both of those together to spend. Then in the center, it says blocks before recovery. So that means if I remember correctly, that means that the people below that, like if no spending has happened within 100 blocks, then the fallback people can recover the wallet. And you might set that to a year or so, right? So, and then the fallback people, that's the recovery path below. So you might set up, in this case, 3 wallets, one with your mom, one with a sibling, one with a lawyer or something, right? And then you could say, well, 2 of those together can recover the wallet, but only if I have not spent anything within 100 blocks or a year or whatever.
Okay.
So it's pretty good logic. So let's say you lose one of your keys, then someone could help you recover it. But then also, if you completely go away, then the other people, let's say for inheritance or so, then the other people could just recover it without depending on you at all. But if you're around, they have no chance of getting to your funds. They cannot collude and take your money. So it's pretty interesting, right? It's a bit complex, and you might need some good UI around it, but it's pretty interesting.
Okay. So what would my mom need? If she's one of the
Recovery persons, I guess.
recovery persons.
So she might just need a smartphone, or a wallet. Could be a hardware wallet, could be on her desktop, could be on her phone. And there was another add-on to it. In order to recover the wallet, she would also need the output descriptor, which means she could also see all your spending.
Okay.
So there's another scenario where you might put the output descriptor with one person and the wallet with another person. So there are a bunch of intricacies around it, right? Obviously, with everything with Bitcoin and multi-sig, it's pretty intricate. But I think this, if we can make this that simple and make this usable for a lot of people, and this logic understandable, I feel like would be a huge UX win.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like a social recovery concept.
Yeah, with built-in logic, right, in order to protect yourself and
exactly that. Yeah, I would love to actually give this some thought. I'm super interested in this idea of social recovery and how that reduces the fear of losing access to your wallet. Also lowers the barriers to entry, I
Christoph,
believe.
do I remember this correctly that this was based on Miniscript? And one of the discussion points was that very few wallets today support Miniscript. Was that part of it?
I do not remember anything about that. Could be.
Because, I mean, what's happening here is the time locks, right? That's what all of this is based on. And I can't remember now if that's part of the existing spec or if miniscripts were required. But anyway, there was some kind of scripting going on. And I also seem to remember that it wasn't necessarily refreshing every time you make a transaction. So like you might actually have to, if you set this kind of time lock or minimum recovery period to a year, you might actually have to renew it every year. Like you had to somehow refresh the script if I recall that correctly.
Yeah, Could also be. Those would be good things to write up. But yeah, to be honest, I don't exactly really know what Miniscript is and what the state of it is and all of this stuff. Um,
No, I know
What
Lowell.
was pretty clear was that this was driven by the tech and driven by engineers, and it would
Yeah.
be good to have an attempt to say, hey, what would this look like if we started with the user in mind,
Yeah.
and then figured out like, okay, how can that be translated into the script as opposed to the other way around?
Yeah. And a
Yeah,
good
okay.
starting.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, go.
I was just going to say a good starting point into this was just download their wallet and play with it.
Mm. Do they already have this?
Yes, it's called Liana.
Okay. Oh, I see, Liana, yeah. Modern day today Bitcoin wallet. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. So just to make sure I understand this. So if you lose access, you give your people, the people who are your recovery people, you give them some kind of code that they can start pasting into any wallet that supports this, and then if two of those does that, then you can regain access given that the conditions are met. Or is it more automatic than that?
No, I don't think it's automatic. Like Daniel said, I
Uh,
think there's this lock time that is basically a function in the blockchain in your transaction, where it's simply not spendable until a certain amount of time has passed. And that is not an external thing that's like baked into the transaction logic.
Oh, interesting. And then what does that do when the conditions are met? Does it? No, I'm struggling to understand how it will
So
actually.
it's basically, I think it's in the multi-sig setup. So like you can specify that before a certain time, all 3 keys are required. After a second time, only 2 keys are required, etc. You can have as many different time lock rules as you want, basically. So I think the end state was that if your mom has a key which is part of the multi-sig, eventually she might be able to spend it without any of the other keys. But you can imagine any design of these time logs
Yeah,
as you want.
yeah. And how will she know that? It will just automatically. Yeah, I don't know what the UI will actually look like.
Yeah, that's I think is definitely to be determined. But you can imagine if there was a standard for this, that I could be using a wallet of my choice, and when someone I know wants to set up a multi-sig that I'm a part to, I would just keep on using my normal wallet, and perhaps I can import that descriptor, say that it's a I don't know, a joint account, even like it could be like a club or an association where you want one person to be the treasurer and have kind of control over day-to-day spending, but someone is a fallback eventually if that falls apart. And so in that case, maybe having visibility is a good thing, right? It's not a problem. And if that person loses access, eventually other people in the association will be able to still recover the funds.
Yeah, got it. Yeah,
And
okay. I've
you know,
seen this.
here in my background, this is a blog post from Vitalik Buterin, that other blockchain guy. And he wrote something about personal experience. And he said, well, he tried the social recovery and then he actually needed it a few months later. And then turns out that one person deleted their wallet, the other person forgot it, and then there was something else. And in the end, he lost his money a few months later because people basically just, people just lost their stuff. So, I mean, which sucks. Sorry, other blockchain guy, for your money, for your loss. But the point is that in theory this can sound great, but in practice, Stain, like you
Yeah.
also mentioned, like how would my mom know that she needs to do something? Like this whole keeping things alive, keeping the system going and, I don't know, connected, that's a good challenge there that you probably need some type of service around that.
Another example they gave, which was interesting, I thought, was less of this social recovery, like almost like set up for yourself. So you could imagine you have a mobile device where you want to have a wallet on there, but you could actually set that wallet up on your mobile device as a multi-sig, and you don't actually save, you don't back up the recovery phrase to that one, and you still have like a fallback to, say, a hardware wallet somewhere else that you own yourself, right? So it doesn't have to involve other people as well. You can basically imagine, various fallback securities for your own wallets. I mean, that to me sounded pretty advanced, but like it is a use case.
Yeah, I think in between all of this, the thing is to find even just one elegant solution that works for a good amount of people, that is technically feasible, that's realistic based on kind of human reality and behavior, and even just finding one thing that works really well in all of these different combinations would already be something good. Yeah, I'm going to share that link. Here we go.
Thank you. Some personal user experiences. Oh yeah, I haven't actually seen this one. Oh, this is like the other day. This is like last month.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I saw this one, which most of you have probably seen as well. This one, which I think was the original one that I wrote about social recovery.
Yeah, I mean, there are various different options appropriate for different scenarios. Let's put it that way. And no single perfect option that works for everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Until we get Web 5, then it'll be amazing. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I was thinking.
Following on.
Go ahead.
Just on the Advancing Bitcoin conference that both me and Christoph attended last week, there was quite a lot of talk about Miniscript. And I think that Liana, now that I read the page about Liana, it does depend on that. Quite a few other talks was also mentioning that. And to be honest, it went a bit over my head. Pretty complex, but also seems very powerful. So it's probably something that we'll hear more about during the rest of the year.
I could chime in about Miniscript a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert at it or anything, but my understanding of it from a BDK workshop that I took was that it's sort of like a language for creating Bitcoin script. So Bitcoin script is the actual like really low level stack based language. That's what's there on the blockchain. You make a Bitcoin output on the blockchain that has a complicated spending condition. So it's Bitcoin script, right? And as you start trying to build stuff like Liana with these really complicated spending conditions where there's many paths, what if a year has passed? What if a year hasn't passed? What if there's 2 signers? What if there's 3 signers and this other special signer? It just gets really complicated. And just writing that Bitcoin script manually gets to be very complicated. And so Miniscript is like a higher level language, and you compile it. Once you write your wallet stuff as Miniscript, and then it gets compiled into actual Bitcoin script when the transaction gets broadcast. And like one of the other kind of perks of Miniscript is that it's supposed to make your Bitcoin script more efficient. So if you have this like complicated spending policy, you might not, like, as a human, know the best way to, write the most efficient Bitcoin script possible, but the mini script compiler is supposed to be able to, construct a Bitcoin script that is, that makes the most sense for what you're doing. That's my story.
Love it. Well, that's
Great,
helpful.
thanks.
Yeah. So how about I just create an issue around this topic and put the Liana reference in, and then we can just kind of take it from there. And we can also start a conversation in the design guide channel, just to shoot back and forth ideas, links, anything else, and then just see where it takes us.
Yeah, I would love that. And that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down so don't forget about it. Well, we have about 10 minutes. Anything else? Anything else from the conference or?
Yeah, I think John's posted like something about hackathon on Nostra design or something like that.
Yes. So that is coming up on Friday, this Friday in 4 days. There'll be a hackathon. Let me see if I can find the link. Did someone already post the link?
I'll rate you.
Oh, sorry. Noe here posted real quick about the Umlando wallet. Stephen, that might be something for you because you're involved with that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. If you're applying for a UX design project, don't bother setting it up. This is a design only project, so there's no code required. I'm getting the feeling that someone at Summer of Bitcoin must be telling the students that they need to go to their projects they're applying for and download the GitHub repo. So if that is the case, then spread the word. Don't download the GitHub repo. It's a design only project. There's no code required. Hope that helps.
Okay. Feel free to throw an emoji or so if that helped, or post another question. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that seemed to help.
Okay, I have the feeling, yeah, I probably need to go into Summer of Bitcoin Discord and see what's happening over there and just maybe post some clarifications about the project. Let's see.
And then yeah, all right, we have the Nostr hackathon happening, and yeah, there's a bunch of different prizes there, and there is a good amount of overlap with Bitcoin for a couple reasons. One is that your private keys are basically and public key are generated the exact same way as Bitcoin keys. So there's a whole key management aspect that we've really thoroughly discussed and in the guide as well, and come up with best practices for and whatnot. And the other aspect is, of course, the zapping and lightning addresses. So if you've seen in the last couple of weeks or so on Nostr, people like the Nostr clients implemented a zap feature where you can just with 1-2 clicks send satoshis to other people, and it's tightly integrated with the system. And there are also paid services in Nostr, like paid relays and whatnot, that also require you to pay with Lightning. So that's kind of of course, Nostr is still kind of the kind of a Bitcoin heavy crowd there, so it makes the stuff makes sense to everyone in there, or is at least somewhat intuitive. But as far as the Nostr Hack Week goes, there's a good amount of overlap, and yeah, I think everyone's invited to join and participate. There was a call yesterday that I unfortunately missed. But yeah, there's a design track and there's a development track. And yeah, you can check out the FAQ and anything else here. Yeah, any specific question around this one?
No, not really, but like I just wanted, because like this call is being like recorded, so yeah, Noster exists, and I guess it is very interesting. So check it out, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you're not going to believe how often I heard Noster at the Advancing Bitcoin conference. Stephen, one of your colleagues was telling me about the stuff that he is working on, Noster indexers.
Oh, one of my colleagues.
Yeah.
How distinguished.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and it appears to be inseparable, like joined at the hip or whatever that's called with Bitcoin. So yeah, I think it should be fun. Johns has been all into it. I'm sure he can get a whole bunch of interesting activity and buzz and people, and so it'll be really interesting to see what will come out of it.
I'm loving seeing how often the node management interfaces keeps on coming up. And now we have Stephen working in that area, because we had Blockstream pop in with that, and now we have Vault Observer, and now we have Stephen. So it's definitely coming up again and again. Maybe at some point in the very distant future in the Bitcoin Design Guide. So.
Well, let me add another one to that one. At the beginning of my UIKit workshop, someone asked about if they could get eyes on some specific design problem they had, and it was Ellen Capital, who's working on a product called Torque, and about some of the more sophisticated node management automation there. So we didn't have time to get into it too much there, but I wanted to have a follow-up soon in the design community as well.
There we go.
So when you say node, you mean like a lightning node, or okay?
Yeah.
So like Stephen works for a company that is only node management, and Block Observer does it as well. Blockstream also has one of their products, which is node management. And now Christoph has mentioned a fourth one. So.
Yeah. So their thing was more that you can build these automated workflows by dragging in and connecting a few different pieces. Like if this channel balance goes over this amount, then do this, and check this every 10 minutes or so. And then if this is the case, then do something else. And that way you can just automate everything that's going on with a pretty cool interface that's that's reminiscent of things like Blender and what you see in some of those 3D tools.
And yes, Raj, I knew nothing about node management interfaces up until like 3-4 months ago. My basic, Stephen is right down the rabbit hole with that, but the basic understanding is that these guys are basically helping to facilitate the Lightning transactions on top of the Bitcoin network. This is the most basic understanding that I have of it. And, you can actually earn income by facilitating these transactions. So you have some people who are businesses who do it. And then you have some people who are just like, oh, I want to have a node management system in my own home or something, I want to run my own personal node. But Stephen can elaborate more on that. But that's my basic understanding of these interfaces. Was it good? Was it correct? Just, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think like when it comes to like a Bitcoin node, it's like pretty easy to set up, I guess. Like run your node, just like download Bitcoin Core, and like just like run your node is easy. But I think that running a Lightning node, just like getting it set up and running, is like really tough. And then the management on top of that, I'm sure it's like really tough. So I guess that's the problem that's being trying to solve, I guess.
Yeah, it's a totally different beast, a Bitcoin and a Lightning node. And with Lightning, it's more like you have one intersection, and you're responsible for the traffic lights at the intersection, and the traffic constantly keeps changing like crazy, and you need to make sure that kind of the traffic makes it through and no one gets stuck and all of that. So
Yeah,
it's like
Christoph framed it brilliantly. It's like there's two traffic lights, and you're the person controlling the traffic lights, and sometimes you get paid a fee for controlling those traffic lights, letting the traffic through, and the traffic being the transactions on the Lightning Network. So, yeah, good explanation.
and if you don't do it right, no one can make it to the people that live in your street because you just can't let them through. Anyway, so it's we're at the hour. Anything else, or should we wrap it up here? Got a handful of follow-ups. Everyone feel okay about next steps and everything?
Mhm.
So cool. Well, thank you. Then I will stop the recording here. Thank you all who watched on YouTube or Bitcoin TV.